We've established that the group is the resource and that you conduct it rather than carry it. Now comes the practical heart of the module, how you actually put a group to work. Because a group of skilled caring coaches has a default gravity, and left to itself, that gravity pulls in exactly the wrong direction. This video gives you 5 structured formats that defeat that gravity. Each one is a different way of arranging the room so that reflection becomes the easy move and advice becomes nearly impossible. By the end, you'll have a format you could run on Monday, scripted concretely enough to use. Let me start by naming the gravity itself, because you can't defeat a current you can't see. Gather a room full of skilled coaches to help one colleague, and they will, with the best hearts in the world, do the least useful thing first. They fix her. Suggestions, solutions. Have you tried? It isn't a flaw in their character. Helping is what drew them to this work. Sit with the mechanism, though. Reflection does not happen because people are reflective. It happens because the structure makes advice impossible and reflection the only available move. That single sentence reframes your whole job in a group. You are not waiting for people to be wise. You are building a container that makes wisdom the path of least resistance. A good format is a constraint engine. It removes the easiest unhelpful move and leaves a more useful one standing. Now let me hand you 5 of them. Here are the first 4 formats, each defined by its core constraint. The reflecting team from Tom Andersen. The presenter goes silent and listens while the team reflects about the case, as if she'd stepped out of the room. That constraint surfaces things people would soften if they were speaking straight to her. It's for a stuck or over-identified presenter. The action learning set. The group may only ask questions, never advise. That forces the presenter's own thinking, and it's for the coach who wants answers handed to her. The Balint group. The group responds to the feeling and image the case evokes, not the facts. It surfaces the relational undertow nobody's named yet. And the Fishbowl. An inner circle does live work, while an outer circle observes, then reflects on what they saw. It's for skill and presence learning and for demonstration. And the 5th format imports something you already own from Module 6. 7-eyed in group. Here you walk the group's attention deliberately through all 7 modes of the 7-eyed model, one at a time, so the reflection covers the whole field instead of the presenter's favorite eye. You route them through the client, then the coach's interventions, then the relationship between them, then the coach's own internal process, then the supervisory relationship, then the group's own response in the room, and finally, the wider system surrounding all of it. 7 angles, walked on purpose. What this constraint defeats is the natural tendency of any group to crowd into 1 or 2 eyes, usually the client and the advice, and call it a full reflection. The format makes the whole field visible by making you visit every part of it. Notice what every one of those 5 formats is built to serve. The ICF names it as the target and competency. 8. The Supervisor creates a reflective, collaborative, and inclusive group learning experience. Read each word as a design requirement. Reflective, so the format has to pull the group past advice into genuine reflection. Collaborative, so the work has to be shared across the room, not monopolized. Inclusive, so the structure has to make room for every member, not just the quick and confident. A format isn't a clever exercise. It's the mechanism by which you deliver that exact experience reliably instead of hoping it happens on its own. Now let me show you one of them running and the one thing that makes or breaks it. Run a reflecting team like this and watch where the work actually lives. You turn to the presenter and say, Petra, just listen now. Don't respond. Don't defend. Don't clarify. The group is going to reflect about what they heard, and your only job is to notice what lands. The group speaks to each other, not to her. What struck me was the courage it took to name those judgments. I noticed a risk of getting so close to his view that no one challenges it. Then you turn back. Petra, what landed? What do you want to pick up? She heard things no one would have said to her face, because the structure gave them a wall to speak past. And one thing makes or breaks it. The moment a member slides into, well, what I do is, you hold the wall warmly and turn it back into the format. 5 formats, 5 constraints, which raises the real question. With this many tools on the bench, how do you choose? That's next.